Tripura, a land of enchanting natural beauty, distinctive cultural traditions, unique history of tribal kings stretching back into antiquity, became a part of India in 1947, bringing an end to princely rule of the Manikya dynasty in Tripura. With a population of 3.7 million, the demographic composition of Tripura is diverse. Around one-third of the population comprises people belonging to the scheduled tribes. There are about 19 tribes in Tripura. They are the Tripuris, Riangs or the Brews, Zamathiyas, Chakma, Halam, Mog, Noathia, Kuki, Garo, Munda, Lushai, Orang, Santal, Lepcha, Khasi, Uchoy, Bil, Bhutia, and Chamal. The influence of Christian and Hindu religions has been a dominating force in eliminating most of the traditional religious beliefs and practices, and this especially among the tribals. The Riangs or the Brew, essence of religion is their belief in the law of karma and rebirth. Where both Hinduism and Christianity have a special effect on their traditional belief and practices. But the influence among this community has been revitalization for the search of a new ideology, which aims at securing an efflorescence of a new identity. The worship of different deities is a system to get relief from different illnesses or diseases. Indigenous religion and Christianity are therefore fundamentally incompatible. The former is essentially tribal and animistic. It shares with other primal religions a belief in ever-present spirits that use natural objects as instruments to bring about good or evil. The spirit world is at work in human beings and nature alike. Particular geographical features, plants and animals are thought to have special powers to help or harm the tribe. Rituals are designed to express adoration or achieve propitiation of such mysterious and dangerous entities. The customary rites and rituals of the Brews of Tripura. The Riangs or the Brews, in terms of appearance, basically belong to the Mongoloid groups and speak the Tibeto-Burman language called Govt. Their traditional belief is basically animistic and consists of 80% of their belief. Christianity accounts for about 9.98%. The Brews in Tripura enjoy a very special status with regards to religious diversity. An important characteristic of the Brew religion is that it doesn't have any sacred scriptures. The religious ethos is contained in the people's hearts, their minds, oral history, and rituals. Their religious worship is animistic and bears a rich legacy from the past. In course of time, there was a culturalism of tribal religious rites and rituals with that of Hinduism, Muslims, Christianity, Buddhists, etc. A notable peculiarity of the Brew religion is that the gods or deities do not have any particular image or a place of worship, but are represented by means of decorated bamboo poles, or in some cases, a stone or a piece of rock. The sacrifices of fowls and pigs, etc., are a common sight. The Brew religion. The Brew followed their religious practices and usages for ages past. They have a belief on the benevolent called the Buraha or the Longdrai, and the malevolent called the Songroma, Mainokma, Kunnokma, spirits called Fola, animatism, attribution of life to physical objects, animism, belief on natural objects, beliefs in dreams or divinations, magic, witchcrafts, omens, etc. The worship of the supernatural beings is supposed to protect them from all evils and calamities. Religion also serves to engender and strengthen group consciousness and solidarity. The Riang village has a community priest known as the Ochai. The priest is regarded as a physician called the Boido, possessing knowledge of medicinal herbs and capable of curing the diseased by means of herbs as well as magical incantations. Some of the rituals and rites before or after childbirth are very special to the Riangs. For example, Tei Chao Mi. This is a ritual that is performed for the delivery of the child and also for the health of the child, and this is determined by examining the intestine of the fowl that has been sacrificed. Beng Bumo. In this ritual, a pig and 4 fowls are sacrificed for the good health of the child and the mother. Abo Sumo. This is by sacrificing 5 fowls and placing 5 local wine bottles. This ritual indicates the purification and the naming of the child. The Bachakamo, which is performed after 4 or 5 months for the good health of the child, is a ritual that is performed by sacrificing 5 fowls and placing 5 to 6 bottles of local made wine. Kongkokamo. This was a ritual that was performed for the proper growth of the child's intellect and for his long life. The ritual required the woman to wear a new cloth and to sacrifice a hen or a cock, depending on the sex of the child. She was also required to offer 60 to 70 bottles of local wine to the priest.
Dalantola soran sono ruwa kedi ya son ya loy mayu ya son ya loy ma wa tu ram kom kiwa ya le ta khabo sa tong biyo hai ni na ga ngo sing le nai bo ke bulo to
Saja tu Nairao or Saroi tu Nairao. This was a sacrifice that included 2 fowls and a pig, and this ritual was performed specifically for the well-being of the child. Rites and rituals in marriage among the Brews were also very special. They composed of precisely of 4 different stages. Sunglaimi, which was the agreement between the couple. Kutai Machami, or the actual engagement. Kukti Malami was the fixing of the marriage date. However, before the bridegroom left his house, the priest would break an egg to wish him a safe journey. And the soy kemi, which was the actual ceremony. The marriage usually took place in the bride's house. The groom, on entering the house, had to sit on the risa, which is a specific cloth worn around the breast of the woman. This risa was made by the bride herself.
Maya Hale Mota Hale, Bonsona Berale, Makamato, and do. Sonbu, I young Kitty, Tabusoya, Murbusoya, Fibusoya, Kitty, those are Crisota, Criccal, Cridon, Cricket, soon to get on like Bonsona Yabera, mean Bonsona to let it go. Cook not of her. Dosa tu musota tu makal do modon do tu motiniti di tu khero khodi tu khero khodi tu buk sa di ka sa di chen thong khod wa.
And while he sat on the risa, holy water would be poured on his head by the priest. The bride at this time was usually kept in a separate room while the ceremony was in process. Here, the whole night through, people would be drinking and dancing. The Songwriter Ritual and ritual that was performed after the bride was brought to the bridegroom's house. In the Songwriter Ritual, the main ceremony included and a cock was offered along with 2 pure local wine bottles that was offered to the priest. Whereas the Kati Chamo was performed after the bride was brought to the bridegroom house. It was performed both on land as well as on water, and done by sacrificing 2 fowls or in some cases even a goat. This ritual was basically to call upon a blessing on the newly married couple. There are rites and rituals relating to individuals or to personal or general welfare. For example, Nokhok Klumo. Here, basically, there were 4 types of rituals which were performed. 1. The Sani ritual during the month of August to September. 2. The Baroi Tainai in the month of September-October. Sonai Rao, which is for family welfare. Boni Rao, which is to get rid of illnesses. Include Imshi Taimo, which is for health and family welfare. Homa Fakami, for women, health and welfare. Korokpango Tunairo is for health. Hatai Tsurimi for long dry god in a haunted place.
Sini bo Magda mai lege bositani para puja binte wanu dosa sota wanu kal dondora fu dosa metu dosa wan hiye bositani khali chanting bono lundai puja khelayo
Which then will be followed by a ritual called Sema Naimo.
Kabul Tabu Hotel dan Victoria Kitty, Ho si Sasa Juga Sajugatini, Kabul Fancy Kubo and Sitting Dry.
Teikato Taula Rimi, ending an oath taken in the name of the parents. Para Kermi for village welfare.
San bu khang de ma yung bu kharan de ke bro don ko lu me ma do to mek na mai pai srat na le ka ko bu lu ko du lu si do ga ko ko du tha pa thai de ke ho 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 si ya sa si ya ko thana thai ta le tu yu bi ha do
Tau Tro Rimi for high fever.
Ayu suk nung khe nai Zora mai chuyện này mà pa mai chuyện này ye cả ham krung khe nu ye tau cho le pai mi
and Asari Kamo for Thanksgiving. Hasplay Me, which is for protection against ground-related illnesses.
소름바이 형 태우게 된 파이브 소리야 물부 소리야 보이고 시리 산바 이렇게 그럼 지나는 시다
Bohuk Jatin Jung, Matmama Hinke. Skang Tero, Hapat Neleye, Goteke, Arono, Wakarkaye, background layu. Abun Kese, Lung Tumano layu. How by Pike, Japang Akem Pangwapang, Tipeke, Hope Solayu.
Bò bè mò hi màn ạ này ha bông sa ta khu đằng tổ này đã về bò đằng dạ bù đằng về ta này đã đi dạ bơ đi về làm này đã
Abo blong kampaye, Hakta, Hak Moyono, Muy Mai Hamyana Hie, Ake, Tre dos hamapapo, Garieno. Hata malai mong ntai no klumong rilayo. Arom tai klumpai kese arom ai kai layo. Ampo ono ya goro fok silai bono o. Maya khani hamsake hok tang layo tum tuke. Trewa ha ya go fok silai piu. Abuni ya go ya gum churono khasang riak nin bak ye khambai shmubai khie cha eno dawa phachal fiu pai tha oke mai monke mai ralayo mai nchu no dolm sinyo buye splong layo.
Michael Moore for the sanctification of agricultural outputs.
Boshitani untuk tau khai le ye mai bak da mai bak thabbo le ye ta khu khu ra jagra no ching bo sotan la ye pujari le untuk tau khai mai cha le
The Nokhog ritual as a whole was performed by sacrificing a buffalo. This four-system of ritual revolved round the whole year. After the rituals came another set of rituals called the Bar Yachat Mo ritual. Here, there would be a procession of the village people, with the owner of the house at the front, followed by 5 priests. During the course of this procession, nobody would be allowed to cross the road. The second part was the Samung Maimo, or the knowing works, was also again for the individual or the personal welfare of the person. Here, 2 pigs were usually sacrificed, one at night and the other on the following morning. But the body of the pig was kept in a small hut that would be guarded by 2 priests and one of their followers. Near the pig was an ink jar or a rope, 7 kuchloi or the seeds of a cotton, and 7 rice grains that would be placed. Which then will be followed by a ritual called Sema Nainmo. If there was any increase in the number of the cotton seed or the rice grains, say up to 8 or 9 with the teeth mark of the pig, then the ritual was considered a success, and then there would be a very grand community feast. Here the owner of the house, the one who was performing the ritual, would have to imitate the priest wearing a new cloth. The priest would be dancing in a very intoxicated manner on the tune of a very godly drum beat. The priest would shiver and throw burnt maize seed, and the owner of the house usually received the seeds before it fell on the ground by spreading his new cloth. This festival took place for 2 days and nights. The tribals believe that their life and work are controlled by supernatural beings whose abode is around them in the hills, the forests, the rivers, and the homes around. The tribal communities in Tripura are therefore mostly motivated towards other religions via Vaishnavism, Hinduism, and Christianity. The influence of Christian and Hindu religion is seen in the celebration of Christian festivals like Easter, Christmas, Good Friday, while the Hindu festivals like Durga Puja, Lakshmi Puja, etc. Such conversion has significantly affected the socio-cultural life of the tribal communities, and in the process, most of the traditional religious beliefs and practices have either been lost or intermingled with the process of worship in different sects. However, in the tribal religion, there is no any sharp distinction between the spirits and the essential unity of nature and humanity. The world is filled with spirit beings, which can be approached and reverenced through the material objects to which they have attached themselves. Ritual actions that celebrate the significance of these signs are acts of faith through which each generation binds itself. In contrast to deep indigenous curiosity about the beginning of things, Christianity believes that creation is the unparalleled act of divine love that cannot be explained by any scientific concepts of causation. But the Brews recognize that their ancestral religion is incapable of reshaping any appeal to its apparently simple virtues and beliefs. The rites and rituals for death were also very particular to the Brews. They included the Yafayo, Taubutayo, Lauto, which was actually God, was the owner of death, and for the dead person. The second ritual was the Sampli Bachao. Here, the whole night through, people would be drinking and dancing by donning the dress of a biangoma, which was a typical bird of a very huge size. The corpse also would be dressed alike. For males, the pyre would consist of 5 steps of wood placed on top of each other, whereas for the female, it consisted of 7 steps. Thereafter, a small hut or a smang nok would be built, where the bones of the dead person would be kept for about 3 or 4 months. The death ritual also had the charmo. Here, the bones were brought and kept in a small hut. Thereafter, a dance would take place around the hut. There was also the Luklaimo. The next day at dawn, a cock was sacrificed by the side of a stream or river, and then the bones were kept on a small bamboo raft and set afloat to be carried away by the current of the stream.